3, 2, 1.
Hey, welcome to First Look. Today we have something slightly different. Today we're going to be looking at a game called GlitchSpankr. Now, Xylix, I hear you saying, what the hell is this? Should I be watching this? How is this allowed on such a family-friendly platform? And have we strayed too far from God's light? Don't worry, it's not what you think it is. It's fine, guys. Trust me. I've played it, and I'll be able to answer all of those questions. Well, maybe not all of them, but most anyhow. At least as far as the game goes. Now, as of writing this game is still in its demo, and the demo is free, obviously, so you might as well go play it. But if you don't feel like it, don't worry. I got you covered. Just stay here and I'll give you the complete rundown. Now, the developer of this game is Mahelyk and the Classified X. They're the ones to blame for this creation, not me. Huh? What is that? Is that the dev interview Q&A alarm? I think it is. So yes, we will be having a dev interview before the end of this video, I promise. Honestly, guys, I was so dumbfounded when I suggested this game that I simply cannot pass up on the chance to get an interview with them. Now anyway, on to the game. So the story we're introduced with is actually slightly different than a normal start, middle, and end. Believe me, guys, I was thrown off by it too. You'd expect a game called GlitchSpankr to be a little more silly of a game, but no, we actually have a very interesting, well-built, serious plot. The story so far goes as follows. The saga so far. Dun dun dun. After the harrowing escape of our band of... the group escaped from the evil clutches of Zelbathar the Ninth, fear be his name. Following the collapse of home planet, our heroes once again continue their quest to the center of the galaxy, Butalia. After having spanked bunk was your error. Text file was corrupted, unable to load from memory. Warning, skipping to end. It's time to continue your journey. There is more left to slap after all. Well, that doesn't seem good. Evidently, we're just drifting through the cosmos in complete destitute, almost like in 2001 A Space Odyssey. And apparently there's some cosmic overlord demon that doesn't want us here because we offended his lineage by slapping all we came in contact with GoldenEye style. So let us join our brave group of vagabonds and see where this perilous journey takes us. Guys, I promise this isn't what it... No, it's exactly what it looks like. Windows must have set up the wrong folder directory or something. Well, we tried. Apparently, we won't be taking a look at GlitchSpankr. Anyway, well, since this loaded up, I guess we'll have to change the narrative. Secret review. Anyway, from the title screen alone, you can tell that Big Booty Slapper 6 is an amazing upgrade on the Booty Slapper series. 1 through 5 definitely were not bad, I'd say. However, this one definitely has some more polish than the last few entries into the series. This one even includes the BBS merch store, for any of you interested in picking up a nice gift for Grandma this year. Anyway, let's start up the game and see what it has in store for us. Huh? Damn it. Well, looks like Windows does it again, huh? Jeez. Sorry, guys. No big booty slappers. I know. Believe me, I am just as disappointed as you all are. Oh man. Luck's just not in our favor today, huh? Oh well. Luckily, we have just the tools we need at our disposal. Another upgrade that BBS 6 comes with, besides the new physics engine, obviously, it has its own built-in anti-malware software just to double make sure you don't lose or corrupt your game. Well, luckily, let's just run glitchspanker.exe and hope for the best. Maybe we can save the review after all. Well, sadly, the Magic installer is definitely not nearly as fast as the standard Wizard or Genie installer. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait this one out for the time being and hope for the best. Alright, let's go ahead and restart the game. Hooray! We're back in a Big Booty Slapper 6. But, wait a minute, something's not right here. No, something's definitely wrong. Now there's this big ugly anti-malware box covering up our beautiful ladies. I guess we'll run it. Want to make sure we don't lose BBS 6. Come on! Well, to start with, the controls are fairly straightforward. Standard WASD to move, and left click to use your spanking hand device. Now, this thing is able to leave handprints on wood veneer, so I will say we should rank it right up there with the BFG from Doom in terms of destructibility. And yes, in this world, vacuum cleaners eat walls. Just kidding. This little guy is going to be our main antagonist. He goes by the name of Spunk. So obviously your first instinct should naturally be to spank the vacuum cleaner. Now, in all fairness to Spunk, he did just get spanked and he is understandably shocked by the event. Now, you can spank other objects in the environment, however, it is not nearly as rewarding because the other furniture does not scream. This is where you start realizing the main premise of the game. Basically, you're in search of Spunk on every level, and your job is to spank around until you're able to find him. But fair warning, don't go randomly spanking, because every object you break in this world is code related directly to BBS 6. So therefore, the more destruction that you cause, the more likely it is that BBS 6 will not play at all, and I'll be damned if we let that happen. The main gameplay element essentially turns into a prop hunt sort of game, but instead of guns and grenades, you get the Spankomatic 5000. The first few levels are essentially here just to show you that any object in the environment could be Spunk in disguise, and he will let you know if you find him, with amazing voice work, I must say. Now this is where Spunk starts to catch on to what we're here to do. He moves us out of the Aqua Teen Hunger Force room that he was in and brings us into the TLC Hoarder hallway. I should add here, Mr. Spunk, this is a severe fire hazard. Anyhow, eventually you make it to the end of the hallway here where the little bastard's hiding, and you just give him a good old slap. Now this is the chapter where things start to break down a little bit. Spunk is starting to show his true colors more here. He does not want to be perpetually spanked, and it turns out that he is not the little bastard we assumed he was. However, he does start coming on a little too strong for me, but he does at the very least give you an ultimatum. Will you be his first genuine friend, or will you become just another enemy to him in his long list of enemies? A real moral dilemma. He even writes you a little song.
I'm a friend. You're my friend. To the end.
Now this does introduce the second main mechanic. This game does have multiple endings and a multitude of choices. Despite the fact that I still hate him, I cannot risk him destroying any more of Big Booty Slapper 6. So for the time being, we will feign a friendship with him just to gain his trust. Now this is where you get to see Spunk's truest form, which is just that of an average 7-Eleven toilet, stains and all. He's greatly shocked by our choice of picking the friend door, and he explains that he never had many friends growing up, and he learned at a very young age to never let anyone too close to him. So naturally, we get right up in his face and slap the shit out of him. Now we've done it. Spunk is now incredibly mad that we betrayed him, and he decides that our penance should be locking us in a room with no food or water, or exit hoping that we will die naturally. Probably to keep his own conscience clean. But after what he did to Big Booty Slapper 6, I believe it is far too late for that. Thanks to our quick spanking, we're able to deduce that the wardrobe was blocking us from his death viewing chamber, and we continue to give him the business. Spunk finally decides that it's time to show us one of his most powerful forms up to this point, which is that of a toaster.
Toast, toast.
He explains to us about his amazing defensive capabilities, which appears to be that of a pissed off chihuahua. Now, this is where we have to back up just a little bit. I did mess this up on my first time. Amazingly, I was able to beat the glitch at his own game by jamming him through a wall at Mach 2. He does give us some funny dialogue,
I'm the one breaking the game. You look like an idiot.
but it did lead to a restart, which the game was kind enough to let me know about.
Now you have to pause and restart the level.
Reset. Anyway, this time we figure out to beat him, we have to manage to sneak past his amazing defenses and slap the ass of the toaster, which is something that I never thought I would have to say in my entire life. And again, Mr. Spunk shows his amazing stealth capabilities by disguising as one of the 2 wardrobes in the Twilight Zone looking room here. However, he
Wait,
can't shut
don't
up for
look
longer
over
than
this way.
5 seconds,
I'm
making this one
definitely not,
fairly straightforward.
in this
Side note,
other thing
not sure if this was
over
intentional or not, but he
here.
does resemble a mimic a lot here. So for any of the D&D fans in the audience, this does open the realm of having Spunk in a possible campaign. Anyway, moving on. This is where Spunk really pulls out the anti-ATF appliances. Similarly to a Claymore Roomba, he has equipped every piece of furniture with its own self-slapper, and if you do end up getting caught in it, it will throw you around like Sonic the Hedgehog on a pinball table. Aside from that, this one's fairly straightforward. Break all the furniture, find Spunk, spank him, keep going. After referring to you as a dingleberry, Spunk then decides to play one of his most strongest moves yet. He places you in an IKEA display room. This essentially will become a maze of furniture with him hiding amongst it. So once again, you must wield your trusty slapper and slap every object in a 5-mile radius. Spunk then hits you with another moral dilemma. He berates and belittles you for destroying everything in his labyrinth he's devised and essentially tries to paint you as the true enemies here for ruining all the hard work of the devs. And this is where Spunk decides it's time to pull another ace out of his sleeve. He ends up performing a seance, presumably trying to summon Zelbathar the Ninth and bring even more destruction to this plane of reality. However, the power of the spanker is mightier than any god, so we do what we were destined to do and slap some satanic cheeks. We destroy the candles, revealing Spunk, and he wasn't able to finish his seance, probably due to his lack of faith. And we move on. Now for a little bit more of a daunting task set up by Spunk the Unknowing, checking all of these end tables for the rest of time. Just kidding. Spunk's a little bitch who gets scared after roughly the 5th or 6th end table getting destroyed. However, common household furniture is not nearly as fast as a bipedal hominid, so we catch up to him, spank him, and move on. After being placed in what appears to be a terrorist interrogation cell, you meet Spunk at another ultimatum. He explains that this is the end of the line for himself and that he is officially out of options, and you are left with only one choice. He begins to beg for mercy, but do not forget what he did to Big Booty Slapper 6. The choice is fairly obvious, I should say. Sadly, he hits you with a time stop and explains the gravity of the action you just tried to perform. However, you do still get to slap him, so now that he's defeated, we can finally get back to Big Booty Slapper 6. Just kidding. Spunk has one more idea. He brings you into the Temple of Doom for his last engagement. He reveals his truest final form, an even larger 7-Eleven toilet now with more rage and hatred for you than previously, which is to be expected. However, we must stay focused on our primary objective. Get him out of BBS 6. Sadly, it is too late before you see his Dark Souls health bar and it's time to engage. If you're able to dodge his toilet attacks quickly, you're then able to cut him down to size fairly fast using your trusty slapper, and with a final blow, you're able to vanquish him from this mortal coil once and for all. And that's the end of the demo. After this, Spunk tells you obviously that this is still a demo and the full game will have a lot more story and dialogue, and more of everything really. There is obviously a lot of care and attention put into it, from the voice acting to the stylized artwork of the game, and the soundtrack was simply amazing, with one of the best custom songs for a game that I think I've ever heard to date. With one final slap, you send Spunk to the great beyond, but not after first hearing his amazing golden pipes. Oh, you hear that? It must be that time. It's time for the developer interview. Welcome to the developer interview. Today we are going to be joined by one Mr. Mahelyk.
Hey, it's Mahelyk.
And so tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Uh, sh sure. So I'm a full-time video game developer. Kind of specialize in solo dev. For the last 8 to 10 years. So usually I get clients who hire me to pretty much make the game like start to finish. So I do like programming, game design, mechanic design, level design, writing, pretty much everything except actually making the art usually. So it's I don't know.
So do you have a team or anything that helps you with any of this, or is it only just you?
Um, Not really, although kind of. I have a voice actor who he's been learning how to make sounds and work in the engine a bit, so that's been cool. And then recently, I've finally got my wife into game dev, so I taught her how to make the voxel style art that we used in our most recent game. So now she's helping as well.
So what's your inspiration? What is the driving factor that caused you to create GlitchSpankr here of like any game you could have made?
I don't know. I just at one point I was I have a lot of different games that I've kind of started, but they're usually very mechanically dense and they take a long time to develop. And I was like, I want to try something that's light on mechanics for once and more humor and story based, so it's a bit quicker. So I just kind of sat in a closet in the dark with like some binaural beats on, so I just like thought about different ideas and just wrote down a whole bunch of ideas. Then I took like those 30 and kind of like crossed them off and just left the best kind of couple of ones and put them together and was like, well, I don't know, like yeah, I'd experimented with some like IK stuff with some other thing, and I was like, well, I might be able to make like one of those like little whip sticks. And I was like, well, that'd be kind of funny if I put like a hand on it, so it's kind of like you're like spanking stuff, so almost like one of those old slappy hand things.
Ah, like the old clapper toy.
Yeah, and I had I created this like almost voxel style art pipeline for a different thing at some point, and I was like, well, I can use that art because it's really quick. And then all these different things kind of came together, and it was just I didn't really plan it out. I just kind of made stuff for fun. I hadn't known if it was going to turn into something or not, so it just kind of came together as I made jokes.
So how long did this project take you up from when you started until like now? Cause it like I thought you worked on it for a long time because it looks really good.
Oh no, it's so I'd worked on it in my free time a bit. I think altogether it's about 3 weeks of work, like Monday to Friday. Like,
Holy shit, 3 weeks? That's insane. How'd you even manage to do that in such a span? It's crazy.
nah, no, I specialize in working quick in prototyping, and this specific art style that I came up with is crazy. So like that TV model, I don't know if you remember, but just say there's a TV model, like instead of it taking potentially days, I can get it start to finish polished and in engine like in 2 hours. And it looks good. So it's
Honestly, I love the art style. It was like super good, especially that part with like the jungle area right before the boss fight. It just the lighting and everything was just great. It was phenomenal.
yeah, it just that the voxel-ish style just looks so good and unreal with the lighting. I pretty much stumbled upon it. And it's just like I haven't seen this anywhere else, but I really like how this looks. I'm gonna make all of my games like this from now on.
Yeah, literally. It looks great. So where did the like idea for the story or the plot come from? Or like the hook, especially with like the whole like big booty slapper 6 thing, because like whenever we first played it, I just thought that was so goddamn funny. And they my buddy who played it with me, just started losing it whenever it starts out from the actual story and then goes like straight into that. Like it is so goddamn funny.
Man, I'm not even sure. I just like I knew I wanted to look like a game that you're gonna like not be playing, and I knew I wanted the antivirus stuff kind of quote unquote use assets from the fake real game. So I was like, well, there's like a slappy hand. It's kind of about like spanking things. So I was just like, well, like, big booty slapper. And I was like, let's make it 6, as if this is something that's been like big and successful. So then we tried some different art for the background and came up with that. Although sadly enough, I'm actually changing all of that because too many people find it offensive or overly sexual. And I mean, to me, it's like, oh, it's like funny and silly, but I can see how people are like, ew, this is like dirty. So it's so
Oh no, don't worry. I definitely get that, but it's just like almost funny that like because in the game your goal like I remember Spunk tells you at one point you have to like don't break too much stuff because it messes with the code of the game. So, like from BBS6, so essentially it turns it into like sort of like what the cake is in Portal, how like that's your MacGuffin essentially to like keep playing through like all the way through to the end of the game or whatever just to see what like happens, like that's like your whole plot line and like story hook essentially to keep you going forward into it.
so I'm keeping the name, but reworking it to or actively making it like a 3D background where it's like these booty-headed looking guys, or I'm calling them like bumpkins. So it looks more currently looks more like a tower defense game versus like these zombie things. I think the story is going to be like the wizard was coming up with a spell to give everyone like free cake, but he didn't realize that cake could mean like big butts or something. But that way we can keep the title Big Booty Slapper 6, but it's like a 180 from sexual, and it's just silly, so people can't misunderstand.
Right, no, I got you. So moving on to our next question here, did anything like crazy or diabolical happen during the development phase of this game, like lost hard drives or any like file corruption, anything like dastardly that happened that prevented any of it?
Um, Not for GlitchSpankr. There's one. My first game was SCP Blackout, and that got pretty big. But I was updating that for a while, and then I got busy with life and having a family, so I hadn't updated it for like a few years. And yeah, so I finally am moving into being able to make my own games full time. So I was like, well, I'll open that up and see where that's at and how it looks and how long it'd be to fix it. But my computer and hard drive had failed, and some of my other projects on there were lost. And I mean, I sat on it for like a full year because I was too nervous to open it. But I tried, and yeah, it was gone. So I've made the game free recently. So it used to be like $20, but if I can't update it, it doesn't really feel right to sell it. So now that's just free. So now I'm just gonna work on these new games.
Right, no, I get you. That's horrible, by the way. I'm really sorry to hear that, but it's really nice what you did for that, making it free and all. Like, I couldn't see any AAA developers being like, "Hey, here's our game because we messed up or
Definitely,
something
their
happened."
AAA is getting bad. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But anyway, moving on. I guess our last question kind of derailed this one, but was this your first game? I'd assume probably not, and we already know what your first game was.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely SCP Blackout. They got. I don't know how it got so as big as it did with like desktop and VR, and like remade the game like 5 times because I just kept learning so much. I'd be like, well, now this whole second half of the game sucks. So it was definitely a passion project, but
Right? Like as you went, it just kind of like got so big that it blew the rest of the game like out of the water quality wise.
yeah, it's just like this new area looks so good that the rest of the game just looks like crap now.
Right, gotcha. Anyway, moving on to our last and final question. Do you have any final comments or do you have any upcoming projects in the works or anything like that?
um, well, GlitchSpankr is the one that I'm finally about to really dig into. So I'm currently reworking the demo for Steam Next Fest. So we'll have kind of reworking the way the game flows a bit. So you won't go to the menu as much, but you'll have like a home room where you can like customize. And so like as you find secrets and unlock mini games and trophies, you'll be able to customize your little house and like your spanker and stuff. So that should make it kind of fun to find more secrets. And then,
Right, basically like give a reason to keep exploring around and looking for new things.
yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that'll be coming with it. So I just like stuff like that. And then after that, we've got, I'm not sure what the next game will be, but I've been working on Crimson Silence before, so it's like the same kind of art style, but it's like a scary base on the moon. So it's like a horror management type game that should be kind of cool. But I'm not sure if that's the next game or if that's going to be the one after it. Since we're now completely full time, it's hard to make a profit as an indie dev, so it's kind of scary. So we got to kind of do what the market needs us to do rather than just full on making whatever we want. But
Right, still got to like make a profit to, like eat and stay alive and do things like that.
yeah, so it's cool. It's a big step that I've been working on for like a decade. So it's cool, but it's kind of scary, honestly. So
Right, no, I don't blame you there. It's definitely like that's a huge big step that I'm sure a lot of people wish they could do. Well, anyway, man, I appreciate your time and I thank you for letting me use your time to get a little interview done here. I thought it was really neat. I can't wait to see what you guys are able to come up with next. Everything was awesome. I'm definitely going to be buying the full copy whenever it does come out. I would highly recommend it too. But yeah, basically, good luck to you guys, and I wish all the best for you guys. And thanks for coming on to the show.
awesome. Thank you for having me on.
Honestly, this was one of the best demos alone that I've ever played. It was chock full of heart and soul. There were so many options and possible story outcomes that it really felt that every decision did have a genuine purpose. And there's still so much more that's going to be added to the full release. However, I still did not get to play Big Booty Slapper 6 9 slappable toasters out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you like this, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you later. Peace.